Matt Scudder is a private investigator with a troubled past.
Well, the bullet took a bad hop.
A drug dealer hires him to find out who killed his wife.
I want you to find the men who did this and bring them to me.
Old wounds resurface as he gets closer to tracking down the killers in A Walk Among the Tombstones.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm here with Brenna and Kevin to talk about A Walk Among the Tombstones. We've all just seen it. Kevin, what'd you think?
Not much. This was a very uninspired film. It was slow. I didn't care about any of the characters. Liam Neeson seems to be sleepwalking his way through this. And nothing happens. You think it's going to be some sort of like action thriller or something.
Yeah.
And it really is just him investigating something, going back and reporting it, and then doing a more investigation.
But here's the thing. All of his detecting work is invalidated with one phone call where he gets all the information in one phone call. So the first hour of the movie where he's investigating doesn't matter.
But there's flashbacks. There's other stuff going on.
We learn about who he is, but you know,
Yeah.
it's Liam Neeson doing gritty ex-alcoholic, ex-cop, tough guy thing, which he always does. So, I mean, he's in his element, but the only clever thing about the movie is the premise, where the only reason that the kidnapped victims' families don't call the cops is because they're under drugs.
Dealers.
That's clever, because usually, like, you just call the cops.
I don't find the premise to be mind-blowing. No. But what I did think was I thought it was solidly done. I mean, I never felt like, and I'm hearing what you're saying, because to me this movie didn't feel like a slow lapse and then all of a sudden action. I did feel like...
The whole thing was slow.
Well, no, I felt... You know, we had the Birdman, the pigeon collector, and he had his own weird, interesting part of the story. And then
it turned out to be unnecessary because he just got a phone call.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to me, it was like I was picking up the crumbs, and even if Neeson's character gets a bunch of information later on, like to me, I was unraveling it and trying to figure out who was who and who was helping what.
So what? You gonna stab me now with that big knife?
It's gonna bother me too for a long time. I know it will.
How much is it gonna bother you? I take that knife away and stick it in your neck.
Could you really do that?
Yeah, I really could.
I do have to say that it was not entirely predictable. I followed on the story. I didn't quite know where it was going because we had a unknown killer. So watching him unfold those was like, oh yeah, who is this guy? What's gonna happen? And then, you know, he gets a phone call that invalidates all of that anyway.
Yeah.
There were points where I didn't know what was going to happen next, which is refreshing, particularly in a detective film, but it wasn't consistent enough to validate
Well, and
it.
here's the other thing about this film, too, which is, so this movie is based on a book by Lawrence Block, the novel, and apparently Harrison Ford was attached to this film back in 2002. So, to be fair, this movie's been around for a long time before it actually got made, and some of the tropes are older. Probably that would be the reason it's set in the 90s, which is such an odd thing. Now I'm like, is that a period piece now?
But there was no, right, but there was no reason for it either. They could have set it in modern times.
They could have.
But they had so many clever Y2K jokes to make.
You know, I enjoyed some of the corniness of that. I did.
This is my own personal thing. I don't like movies that have women that literally only exist to be chopped into pieces, who don't even have a line of dialogue except for the waitress asking if you want some soda.
And the thing is, too, we don't care about them anyway.
Yeah, we don't care about them.
I don't care if they died or lived because I didn't know them.
I mean, I think the sort of shortcut for that was by showing them in such perilous situations where it just pulls on your heartstrings.
Sure.
If you're asking me to run a bag, deliver money, that is not something I do.
I already paid them.
When?
Last night.
And your wife, where is she?
She's dead.
TJ, the character played by Astro, I feel like all of those characters are pretty well fleshed out for a thriller.
I think my problem, too, with the characterizations, actually, was, Liam Neeson's character was kind of cliche. We've seen this before. You know, he's an alcoholic because of something that happened. We're going to slowly reveal.
Sure.
But also, the final act seemed like a comedy to me. I mean, the audience was laughing, like roaring, and this is not, you're not led down that path. There's funny elements, but when it gets to the end, it's kind of really hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just felt like sort of a ridiculous bloodlust moment, which, did you want to go there? I don't know. But I was on board. I was just like, yes, let's kill the bastard and blood fly everywhere. Maybe it's my road rage pent up, but I was all for it. I was just like, yeah.
It's been a busy year for you and your boyfriend.
You know, I could cut the little throat and send her back to Daddy a chunk at a time.
Then you're dead.
Oh?
Yeah, oh. You want your money, or you want to be looking behind you for the rest of your worthless life?
Obviously, this film was very much in Liam Neeson's wheelhouse, but I will say this. There's a couple films I've seen recently where there are older guys who are trying to be manly and sort of doing a replication, mimicking sort of performance. I mean, it is nice to see someone who is that guy.
So this film was directed by Scott Frank, and he does have this gritty detective feel to it. He shoots it almost as corny as the story is.
That's the thing, it was so corny.
A lot of like really dramatically set up shots and sort of fancy camera work that doesn't quite fit.
Yeah. He directed The Lookout with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which, was pretty critically acclaimed. I just don't think this adds to his repertoire very well.
A Walk Among the Tombstones does what it's supposed to for the most part, gives you a mystery and keeps you guessing. Unfortunately, it doesn't do it very well. Skip it.
A good dramatic thriller with well-drawn characters, this film is not exceptional, but I very much enjoyed Brian Bradley's performance, so I'm giving it a see it.
If you're looking for the next Liam Neeson kick-some-ass movie, this is more of a light tap with your boot and then walks away bored movie. Skip it.
All right, well, our votes add up to 1 ticket, which is a stream it for A Walk Among the Tombstones. Cheers!
And you can jump in a grave.
Oh my goodness.
I had a dream I was on, like, a spaceship for some reason. It's really weird. It was really crowded, but it was like film school on a spaceship.